Hello there, I am Big Ali. A slow intro for you there, for a slow video, because I'm going to change things, I'm going to do things slightly different in this video, which is in stark contrast. About an hour ago, I just finished probably my most, people screaming outside my house. About an hour ago, I just finished, I think the most impassioned commentary I think I've ever made. I got into politics and exactly what's sort of wrong with the world that we live in, and I talked a lot about that, which is ironic because last night I had an interesting night where I was just sort of looking back at my older videos, and again, ironically, I don't think I would have made a video like this nowadays. I really don't think that I would make just sort of an update, keeping everybody updated as to what's going on a more sort of chilled, less scripted kind of thing. I spend a lot of time nowadays thinking over exactly what I'm going to say in the commentary, how long I want it to be, and exactly what avenues I wanted to sort of head into. I think I'm just one step away from a corkboard on the wall and ties from George Bush to an ant, and then an anteater, and then Paul Rudd on one side. But this is God damn, those people are happy. But this is exactly how things used to be, and I just want to try all this and see whether people like it or don't. And I apologize if you don't, but I think it's quite a fitting time to slow things down right after I just made the most impassioned video that I've probably ever made on this channel about things, and I don't know which one I'm going to post, or whether I'm going to post them both, or whether I'm just going to post the slow one or just the fast one. I really don't know at this point. I'm going to peel back the curtain a bit in this video and just sort of talk about where I am right now, and that's sort of how I've got here, and I think this is also a good time after I've just messed with my audio a little bit, and I downloaded a program that I used to use called Audacity, which would I basically just decided to use it to sort of flesh out my voice and add a bass boost and stuff like that, because I am a fan of I'm a fan of that of a nice crisp voice, and I've been endeavoring to get better and better and better. And one thing that I did do last night was I went through. It's actually quite hard to keep my voice as chilled as it used to be. I went through and I watched my old videos, and I decided to do it in a progressive way. So I started with the first stuff, and then moved slowly on to when I started doing Call of Duty commentaries and talking about the game itself, and then Modern Warfare 3 and my dislike for that game, and then on to, but essentially talking about where I was at that point, and then I took that huge break, and then over to the sort of rebooted stuff, and to see exactly what I'm doing with that. And I like to do that. I'm a big fan of progression and perspective over time. I think that's something that I really like to do. I go back and I watch those videos all the damn time, and I know I made that 7-year anniversary video last year where I compiled 7 years of my YouTube into one video, and of course there was a big break in the middle and stuff like that, but and that was because I had been doing exactly what I did last night, which was going through and watching my old stuff. And I will say that, I'm a lot faster now. That's just come with time. I am a lot a lot more scripted, and I'd like to give a lot more information. And I also feel kind of bad for making a video like this. I don't really do videos where I just chat for a bit anymore, because I feel as though people feel cheated if they come away without having learned something or been entertained in some way. So I don't really play to the notion of just, hey, listen to me talk about random shit anymore. But that was the foundation of the channel, that was how things started. I just wanted to have a chilled out channel where I could just sort of talk about random stuff, and I do. This sounds crazy, especially as things have really skyrocketed more than ever nowadays, and I have established myself as more of an information giver / entertainer on this channel. But I do sometimes go back to those videos and think, would people prefer to have something stop screaming, would people prefer to have something that's more chilled and even more positive and more laid back, and just a little bit more of a conversation, and just something to sort of listen to, for lack of a better term? I don't know. I think that maybe that was why people focused more on my gameplay back then than what I was saying, because I really wasn't saying as much. But it has changed, and I would like some feedback. I'd like to know if people prefer this style, trying to not make it based on audio quality, because the audio quality is going to be the same regardless. However, I do think that maybe slowing what I'm saying down like I am now and being a lot more chilled about it could, I don't know, benefit the audio in some way by letting the voice carry through and letting the bass and hopefully the crispness of what I'm saying really have more of an impact. And just it being slower lets you take things in a little more easily. I've been told recently that the video duration in my videos is way too long, but I get so passionate about the topics now, and that's another thing. One of the reasons I stopped doing commentaries the first time, which was mid 2012, it was a combination of the fact that I wasn't watching commentaries anymore. Scene Alice had started to slow down, who was my inspiration for making this channel in the first place. And exactly, if you want to know exactly what I was going for at the start of this channel, then just watch his old Black Ops 1 Modern Warfare 3 stuff. That's exactly what I was trying to emulate. But he had started to move away from that, and I got into Rooster Teeth, who I'm still into now, and it's a great channel. And I began to emulate them too, and I started doing Let's Plays. But there was also the fact that I realized that by just saying things, just speaking, that I really wasn't saying much. My videos were beginning to go a little bit pointless. And I was talking about the game too, but if I set out with a goal to just kind of talk about stuff, and ended up talking about nothing, ironically. But I maybe would like to do, I don't know, a series, or maybe return to the notion of talking about things that aren't about games and about society and stuff like that, and maybe just talk more about notions that I have in my mind, which I do have a lot of, just about social politics and things like that. Not actual politics. Please don't confuse actual politics with social politics. Just the way that we interact with one another as a society. Perhaps in this slower style, in this Midnight DJ style. I don't know, if that's something that you would like to see, then definitely let me know. I think that when I started becoming more frantic and louder and faster, then I just sort of assumed that is what people would want to see, because there's more of a professional tone to having more to say and being faster with it. But the more I do that, the more videos I made like that, the more I begin to wonder whether people enjoyed a slower, more chilled out style, and whether people would now. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But I'm going to bring things to a close now. But I do want to say, I want to talk about progression a little bit, because I don't know if I've really had a full-on conversation about how I've progressed. Essentially, I started out just randomly throwing things together, and I would definitely recommend watching those older videos to see how I've progressed and see how things have changed. But I started out just kind of aimlessly talking about stuff, and I love watching my old Halo Reach Condemned gameplay, which was the first ever video. It was so different. I actually called myself the Big R 1994 and used the word douche far too many times back then. And then I was just experimenting with lots of different things. I used to shoot it with a camera. I used to shoot my videos with a camera, and all of the voiceover would be done through the camera. Now I use a Turtle Beach connected to my phone with iMovie, and I set an image over a usually about 25-minute span, and then I set it to do a voiceover, and there you go. And then I save it as a video file, and then I can drag it. I put it into my cloud, and then I can drag it onto iMovie as an audio file. Now, actually, after I do that, I render it in audio and then put it through Audacity and up the bass and the treble to about 10. So if anybody wants some top tips in a Bob Ross style voice, then there you go, there you have it. But yeah, it's changed a lot. Then of course I got my capture card back in 2012, right at the start of 2012, and things really did start to take off then. But as I said, I moved away from what I think people were there to see, and then I took a huge break, and then I came back, and things got a lot more professional, and things have begun to really pick up again, and I'm so grateful for that. I love the fact that people are actually watching and listening to me. It's honestly, it's so great. It's so great to know that people are actually listening to what I have to say, and that I have, quote, an audience. And when I get a lot of positive feedback, which I'm always incredibly grateful for. I know that a lot of people do just sort of fill the blanks and say thank you, thanks for the comment and stuff like that. I genuinely, there's no falsehood to it. I don't expect any appreciation, and when I get it, it's fantastic. But yeah, no, I do flip-flop. I go back and I see what I used to do and what I'm doing now, and it's so good to know that things have changed. But the notion of being slower and taking things slow like this is still something that's in my mind. And again, if anybody wants to see that, then let me know. It will be set to all manner of gameplays. I used to also, before I go, one thing I used to do was I really did care about the gameplay that I would shoot, and I would go through and try to get the best possible gameplay in Call of Duty, and how much that's changed now. Now I'd rather just smatter together random games, because I think it's more interesting to see me playing different things and maybe seeing a game that you haven't seen before. But I will say that one thing that people do query me about is a lot of people's. I speak to a lot of content creators and a lot of people who say that my channel's no good and I don't have a confidence, or I don't have really any prowess when it comes to talking about things. And of course, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I have a lot of experience under my belt. And again, I definitely recommend watching those older videos just to see how much I progress. This is my 8th year doing this, and you rest assured, you will improve over time. I very much struggled to know what to say back then, and how to pace my videos and exactly what people want to hear and things like that. I struggled a lot, and I think now, just having done that so many times, I get better at. I've become so much better at structuring things and connecting what I say and linking words and things like that, to the point where you wouldn't ask a random person to talk straight for 25 minutes, but I do. I don't have any professional qualifications in public speaking or drama or anything like that. I'm a film student, but I'm able to do it just because I've done it so many times. I started by doing 5 or so minute videos. I think they were usually about 5 minutes, and then over time just made them longer and got better at making them longer. So, stick by it. I would also say that I don't think that making multiple channels over and over again and starting again is a good thing, particularly. I know there's a lot of advice that I would give, but I don't think is very good. For example, you don't have to follow these rules, but I would say that maybe try to get a name that's very independent to yourself. You search Begalius and I'm the first thing that comes up. You search X Snipes and you're going to go 40,000 different things. And again, that comes from experience, from speaking to a lot of people. You try to make yourself very independent from other people. And again, that is something that comes with time. Initially, my channel, there wasn't much I could do with it. Now I have more experience with graphic designing, and I know people too who have been huge helps with making my channel stand out from other people's. And I think that is very important, being able to stand out from everyone else whilst making things that people want to see. Well, this is the weirdest commentary I've made in a very long time. It's been fun though. It's cool. It's very chill. So again, if you want to see something like this, just let me know, and I guess I will see everyone later.
RCXD ready for deployment. Man down! RCXD ready for launch.